A real estate powerhouse with over $1 billion in deals, balancing market trends, client needs, and tough talks. And that's just the real estate job of this auto brokerage owner, TV chef, philanthropist, and author. How does she balance work, family, and motherhood? And what has it taken to get here? My guest is Jamaican-born serial entrepreneur Tiffany Gray, the founder of TVJ Realty. I'm Archibald Gordon. This is Profile. Tiffany Gray, welcome to Profile.
Thank you for having me.
We're delighted to have you, especially with this kind of resume, and I want to read it out for the viewers who may not be as familiar with you, but are certainly going to be at the end of this program. Real estate powerhouse, managing TVJ Realty Incorporated, orchestrating over $1 billion in deals, expanding nationally and in the Caribbean, and we'll talk a little bit about that later on. Auto brokerage owner as well. You run 7th Automobile Brokerage, specializing in luxury vehicles sales in Roswell, Georgia. Daycare founder. You established Tiny Footprints Academy, focusing on innovative early childhood education. And you're also a philanthropist and an author. You have created the Step Into Your Legacy Foundation, which fosters financial literacy and life skills among young adults. You're also a tourism entrepreneur. You co-founded Great Rising International, delivering unique travel experiences globally, and you're an author and a TV chef, by the way. Published Reversing Out of Turmoil and 2 cookbooks featured on Food Network's Guys Grocery Games and Cutthroat Kitchen. So when you listen to all of this, how do you feel when you listen to your own resume?
I'm like, dang, she's been working. I feel great. I feel awesome. Yes.
Do you relish it? Do you relish the work?
No, I just keep going. I don't really stop and think about it, you know, I just keep it moving.
Now, you're expanding TVJ Realty across the Caribbean, and one reason is that you're Jamaican. You're born in Port Royal, right here in Jamaica. Let's talk about that first of all, what it was like growing up in Port Royal.
So it was great growing up in Port Royal, you know, outside every day. Of course, everybody is, you know, like your parents, right? And you can't get in trouble. Everyone's going to, you know, spank you. But, you know, going to the seaside, swimming all the time, eating all the seafood. And to this day, I love seafood. That's like my comfort food, right? And I'm a mermaid. And I definitely give that to Port Royal, being a mermaid. So, yeah.
As in, you love to swim.
I love to swim.
Excellent swimmer.
Yes, that's like my peace. That's my sacred places in the water.
No, in terms of your family structure, grew up with your mother and sister as well.
Yeah, my mother. Well, my mother had 4 children altogether, 3 girls, 1 boy. So yes, I grew up with my mom and my siblings. Yes.
What's mom like?
Mom is, you know, she's a firecracker. You know, my mom is really short, but she's loud, but she's very stern. She's have the biggest heart ever, right? She'll give you her last. She'll give you her last. That's my mom, and she loves to smile. Yeah, so I think I got that from her, right? But she's like a little firecracker. Don't play with her.
She's very, very serious, as you say.
Yes, yeah, she'll cuss you out.
What were some of the things she was saying to you growing up in terms of, you know, just encouraging you to do well?
So over and over and over again, don't depend on nobody, you know. Get out there, get it on your own. Always remember that. Defy the odds, stuff like that. Keep going. Yes. And
she was not just saying this to you. You would have seen her setting her own example. So by age 7, all of you were migrating to the United States. That sounds like a bit of a culture shock.
Yes, it was definitely a culture shock going back to the States, right? We're going to the States. It was definitely a culture shock. We went to New York first, and then we moved to California. And yeah, it's totally different.
How did you fit in?
I didn't. I'm like a misfit. I don't even fit in to this day. Yes.
Why weren't you fitting in at that point?
Okay, so growing up, when I got to the States, I had the accent, right? So people used to make fun of fun of us. Growing up, getting made fun of, and not understanding the American culture, right? Because I wasn't raised that way, so I didn't understand the way they did certain things. And even their cooking is different, you know? Like, I didn't know, I didn't know about macaroni and cheese until I was like 14, right? And I didn't know about grits until I moved to Atlanta. So
just a completely different kind of environment.
Yes.
So at what point, what was it that clicked and made you say, you know, I want to be an entrepreneur?
Oh, I think I was always one. You know, I started my entrepreneur journey in high school, right? Selling candies like suckers and, you know, lollipops and stuff like that. So yes, I was able to help my mom with bills and then get a pair of shoes. You know, once a week I would buy a pair of shoes. So
helping out at that point as well, because as you said, your mom was, you know, father in the picture, but your mom having to carry a lot of the weight of raising you and your sisters.
Yeah, my mom was a single mom. Yes, she did a whole lot by herself. You know, being a mother myself, I understand it. Because, you know, growing up, you don't really understand the trials and tribulations your parents go through, right? And the sacrifices they have made. But being a parent, you actually get to understand it because you're living in it, right? So I would say, you know, my mom moving into a foreign country, that's harder on the adult than it is on the children, because you're moving to somewhere that no one knows who you are, right? It's kind of like me coming back to Jamaica.
So starting out by selling candy was your way of not just making a little extra money, but kind of helping out your mom.
Yes.
How did that sort of, you were very successful at it, sort of create the spark for the other things, for moving on to a job when you left high school? So,
yeah, it helped a lot. So I started selling the candy, but then I wanted something more secure, you know, because, you know, that's how they preach, you know, like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that book. They preach the difference between Rich Dad and Poor Dad. It's not all money. It's about what your mentality, right? So what everyone teaches to get a regular job, so forth and so on. So yes, I started off selling candy. Then my first job was at Kmart at the age of 16, right? And so I was really good. Like, I was the best cashier. I was fast in everything, right? All my customers loved me. We got raving reviews. And so I asked for a raise. They didn't want to give me a raise. I knew my worth. So I quit. Got me another job that gave me what I wanted. So that helped me with the confidence. You know, just understanding to know your worth, right? And understanding that customer service is number one.
All right,
second to none.
I want to build on that idea and then talk about how you went off to go into real estate. But we have to take our first break on Profile. My guest is Jamaican-born serial entrepreneur Tiffany Gray, and she's the founder of TAMG Realty. Stick around, we're back with you after these messages.